known him as our state treasurer, or as a great candidate running for governor. And I know him as those things. But I also know him really well as a man who does so much, so quietly and so faithfully for people every single day. He's the first person that so many people call to help veterans, hurricane victims, just pretty much anybody. When Hurricane Ida swept through, John was collecting everything in his backyard, leaving the gate open. And those of us that knew him knew to take stuff over there and just drop it off in his backyard under the shelter, because that's who he is. And he was taking it down to Grand Isle and all points south. I figured he'd have to replace his vehicle, but I bet he didn't. He's well known in this community as, at the drop of a hat, being the first person to call when somebody needs help in the veterans community, because he will always show up without hesitation. He also has a deep respect for the abilities of another human being to work and to pull themselves up by their own capabilities when given the right tools. I've not met many people like John Schroder, honestly. So I would like to introduce our final speaker as a man who I respect deeply for his integrity and his honesty, but also for just the way he treats other people. Woo! State treasurer.
Thank you. That phone, I don't know if I was the first phone call, but Scott, if I wasn't the first, I was close. So they asked me if I would help. They asked me if I would donate, and I said absolutely. And this is an unbelievable turnout for the first time event. And Scott's right, you can't tell Jennifer that. So look, just real quick, a couple things. I am an Army veteran. I served with the 101st Airborne Division. I was a infantry military intelligence CID agent. I've been in public office now 15 out of the last 16 years. I served this region as a state representative, and I have been your state treasurer now 6 years come November. I have been very involved in the veterans community. The great thing about being state treasurer, or my wife would say the bad thing about being state treasurer, I get more phone calls about stuff that has nothing to do with what I do. Judge, right? It's amazing. From veterans issues, hurricane issues, you name it, and I'm not even a parish president. But you know what the great thing about serving and being where I'm at? I can connect dots. I don't see the dots as good as I used to, but I can connect dots, and it's great being able to do that and helping people. So I got a couple things that I want to do, but I was asked to come speak. In no particular order, I want to do something first. If you're a veteran, stand, please. If you're not standing already and you're a law enforcement veteran, stand, please. Couple more. So, I don't need to tell you, I would tell you, if you want a better life, go home this afternoon when this is over, go into your den, go into your master bedroom, go into your office, take the TV down and go put it up by the trash. And you'll have a much better life. Earlier this year, actually coming out of last year, I got really sick about all of the anti-law enforcement crap. And I'm the national chairman right now of the Treasurers Association, and I'm in Pennsylvania and meeting, we're at a conference, and I'm meeting this new state treasurer that was just elected in Pennsylvania. Now those that know my wife, she says she's 5 foot, she's really about 4'11". And this state treasurer comes up to me, and she's about this tall. She sticks out a hand, shakes my hand, and she almost breaks my hand. And I introduced myself. She says, I know exactly who you are. You're the treasurer of Louisiana, and you're a former CID agent. And she says, I'm a retired full bird colonel, 3 tours to Iraq and Peace Corps, and hands me her challenge card. So I said, you know what? I need one of these. You know, y'all all know that. So, but on top of that, I was really disgusted over the whole pushback against law enforcement. So I came home, I engaged a friend of mine, Scott Nowicki, who, you know, Scott and I met in a strange way. And Scott's right. And Jenna, I don't look for fanfare or anything, but I do believe when you help people out of the kindness of your heart, good things happen. And he just asked me a question one day. Now we're the closest of friends. So great soldier, great guy to have in your community. But I came home, I put this lapel pin on because I commissioned my own lapel pin. And I got a couple guys going to walk around and hand each of you one. I just want to read, because if your eyes are like mine, you're not going to be able to read it on what's on the American flag on it. But I just wanted, I did this in your honor, and you know, it was a privilege to serve both as a narcotics agent and a CID agent in the Army. You know, my retina hemorrhaged when I was about 29. Things ain't turned out so bad. Now I manage about $60 billion for you. So I'm going to read this real quick. Few callings demand the wilderness of sacrifice and put oneself in harm's way for the safety of others. This sacrifice of service is often carried out with little fanfare, but our law enforcement officers and military do so daily. As a former Army soldier, CID agent, and Sheriff's Narcotics detective, I understand firsthand the sacrifice made by men and women who put the uniform on every day. As a bonding emblem of our shared experience in this service to others and symbol of gratitude, I commissioned this folded American flag lapel pin in recognition of your sacrifice and unwavering dedication to your communities and our country. Thank you for your service. Scott actually helped me design and come up with this, so I appreciate that. So while they pass them out, let me just say a couple things real quick. We have over 300,000 veterans in Louisiana now. Unbelievable amount. And when the hospital was finished, more are coming, more are settling. A lot of them are settled right here in St. Tammany Parish. But guys, it gives me goosebumps. The phone calls I get, and Jen's right, you call me, I'm coming. I don't care day, night, as long as God lets me, I'm coming to help, if I can. It's amazing to me how many problems we have in the veterans community. And I look around the room, and I'm sure you might all have the issues, but ladies and gentlemen, they're not in this room. And let me tell you why we need you. Because never before, when you go look at our population of homeless people, I have a really, really close friend of mine that I met, the African-American preacher, Baptist preacher. 4 days a week, he's under the bridges, feeding homeless people in the city. And he told me a couple months ago that the majority of them, if not at least half, veterans. They're sick, they have mental health problems, which is a huge problem in this state, in mental health. So let me tell you, if you take anything away from it, and one of the reasons I said I would help and do whatever I could do as state treasurer, before you leave today, there's these cards out front. There's over $1 billion in unclaimed property that belong to citizens of Louisiana. And now we go to just about every veteran event around the state now, and I send at least one person to look this up. It's very easy to do. And we have a lot of seniors, and a lot of the money is $1 billion, $1 billion with a B, that belong to people. So everybody in this room right now, everybody in this room, somebody in your family, we have so much money, 1 in 5 people have money in this program. But you know what? Now look, this is free money. LACashClaim.org. Most people can get it right online. Just fill it out. So before you leave, grab a couple of these, bring them to your friends. But I want to make one hard plea to you. 2 things I want to say. I don't think there's ever been a time in our community not only just in this state, this country, where veterans need to step up. Because I was in front of a group of African American leaders in Terrebonne Parish this week. And it just so happened, there were 7 of us in a room, and we were all veterans. All of us. 2 councilmen, and some do some other things, the one's a preacher. We were all veterans of some branch. I joke and say, I was in the military, I was in the Army. Sorry, Air Force and Navy guys. You know, I know. But you gotta do it, you know. We ain't gonna say nothing about the Marines. Right. They not right anyway. But we have to bring some civility to our communities. And there's no better people to do that than the veterans. I'm sick and tired of this political fight that we can't even have conversations anymore. I've taken about 5 oaths in my life, and never once yet, when I raised my hand and took the oath, did I say I was only going to represent Republicans or the whites or the blacks or the Democrats. You swear the oath to represent all people. There's no better example than that than our veterans. So ladies and gentlemen, I ask you and I plead with you, get involved. Because if you don't, we're going to hell in a handbasket. Now my glass is half full. I wake up every day and it's mysteriously the glass is half full. Okay? But there's a lot you can do. I'm only one person and I only have 2 phones. Most people call my personal phone. There's a lot you can do to help veterans around the state, from volunteering to go help this man on the bridge. Let me just tell you real quick what this guy does every week. He sells meals. He's probably not gonna like that I say this. He goes and buys food, makes meals, goes home with his wife and daughter in Laplace, cooks meals, puts them in the plastic containers, sends out text messages and sells them for $10 a piece. People come from all over St. Charles, St. John, St. James Parish, buy those meals. He gets the money, and it's just a cycle. They go out, they cook food, real food, and bring it to their homes. But before they get to eat, I can show you pictures. They line up, and before they can eat, they got to say grace before meals. But the grace before meals is a little more than just, bless us, O Lord, these are gifts. Right? Because these men and women are sick, they got problems. You know, and many of them, you can't get them off the street. This man, you talk about somebody who we need to help. I told him this other day, I took him to Dot's Diner at the church. I said, when the campaign's over, I'm going to help you. He looks at me and says, you know, people come help me all the time. They come out 1, 2, 3 times, take some pictures, and I never see them again. You know what I told him? I said, I didn't say I was coming out there. I'm going to do something that nobody's told you they do. I'm going to help you raise money. So you don't have to work and cook dinner 4 nights a week to go serve food 4 days a week. So there's so many things you can do that you don't realize. And just being a state treasurer, I see all this stuff all the time. I see what this American Legion Hall does. I see what that VFW Hall. I come over here at nighttime to meet with, and I take veterans to Baton Rouge, Vietnam veterans that haven't been in the system for years, and just trying to help them. And if you don't know your Secretary of Veterans Affairs in this state, you need to know. He has now served under his 5th governor. His name's Colonel Strickland, and he loves people and he loves to help veterans. So if you have a veteran friend that's having a problem, man, call us. Call us. They know where to find me. Call Scott, call Jay, call Jen, call one of the organizations. But get involved. And obviously, I don't know why everybody came today, but thank you for coming. We're going to have some unclaimed property people here every month. So if you have people who have a problem with it, I'm going to have somebody from my staff here each month to help you. And we hope to just really bring some assets to the veterans that need some help. But something tells me they're not sitting in this room. Some of you may need some help. But I would tell you the majority of them are not sitting in this room, because the guys and gals that I've helped, you're not going to see them in church. You're not going to see them in places like this. They're just sitting at home, wasting away. They're just wasting away. So get involved. Thank you for your service. It's an honor to serve you. And Scott, Jen, congratulations. What an outstanding event. And if she calls you, I'll give you her phone number, so if she calls you on your phone, just get ready.